It's Listen In with KNN, the sports sound of the district. We bring you the biggest guests, great analysis, and the hottest sports stories in the nation's capital and beyond. And we bring it to you live. Welcome to this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN. Here's your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Listen In with KNN, presented by Fox Sports Radio. I'm your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson, and we are back for part two, which I'm very, very, very excited about to welcome in my next guest. I think he has an incredible story to tell. He goes by the name Larry Sanders. Big Three fans, you guys are very used to this name by now. We're going to talk all things basketball, get into his life, and so many amazing things that he's currently doing, kind of talking life after basketball. But as always, before I start, I want to give love and show love to our sponsors. So as always, you see me rocking this very special K necklace. You can get your favorite name collection item or so many more gifts. You can shop all your jewelry at thejewelledexperience.com and save 20% off your first purchase when you sign up for their mailing list. So be sure to check it out. Get the special gifts for your loved ones, birthdays coming up, special holidays, and whatever. All right, you got to show love. All right, so without further ado, I'd now like to bring in my very special guest, none other than Mr. Larry Sanders. Larry, how are you?
What's up? What's up? How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks so much for joining me. How's everything been with you? Are you quarantining? Are you social distancing, Larry?
Yeah, I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best to follow the rules while staying sane.
I understand. So where are you currently?
Right now I'm in Arizona.
Nice. So you have the warm weather. I hope you could bring some of that to the DMV. We got a little bit warm, but not as warm as you all are out there.
Right. I bet.
So what's the latest with you? What have you been up to?
Just entrepreneurship, staying creative, staying active. This break has been, it's kind of been a break, but I'm kind of a introvert myself. So I'm enjoying this time and just doing some inward stuff and taking my time with it. So it's good.
I don't believe you're an introvert. I mean, you have the LA show, you're producing, you're dropping beats and stuff. You have a clothing line. No way you're an introvert, Larry. I'm not believing
I'm an introvert. I'm sociable. I enjoy people, but I enjoy my alone time too. So
I understand it. So Larry, I mean, right now we're having a world with no sports. You're an athlete. I mean, how are you kind of coping with this no sports thing? Do you think we'll get back to playing sports anytime soon?
Right. Man, I hope so. I mean, me personally, I'm dying to shoot a basketball. Just to go to a gym and dribble and shoot and work out. You kind of don't really know how much you miss until you physically can't do it. You know? So, hopefully it'll be over soon. I get my fix. So. Yeah,
and somebody who knows how to shoot a basketball is definitely you. So we can all learn some skills from you. So I want to go back to the beginning, though, with basketball. So, of course, you went to VCU. So you're used to us here in the DMV area. A little bit. Actually, before we go to basketball, what's your favorite memories of the DMV?
I'm just exploring it. I mean, when I got there, I was like, what is the DMV? It was like DC, Maryland, Virginia. I didn't know what that really meant because you don't see that on the map. But going to the Virginia Beach and that was so dope, seeing the Strip, Chesapeake, just being around Virginia and going to DC and seeing the museums. And going, that was dope. I had a great college experience. I'm really happy I went to school in that area because it was a lot different from Florida and it's really culture. So.
Yeah, definitely culture. Did you get any wings and mambo sauce right you were here?
Right.
You were eating that, right?
That mambo sauce go crazy. Yes,
man, we got to send you some in Arizona. We're going to see what we can do.
You know what shocked me was the music, the go-go music.
You heard it in my beat, right? In my intro. I brought it to you.
That's that culture. Yeah, well, I got into it at first I was like, what is this raw instruments, in the club, but it's dope. It's dope.
Oh, now I got a good one for you. What were some of your favorite clubs while you were here?
Oh man, what's the 4-level joint that got shut down?
Was it Love?
Love.
Oh yeah, Love is gone now.
Yes. That's when I was in school. Love went crazy. Yeah.
Good memories, right?
Yeah, great.
Have you been back anytime recently to the DMV area?
I went to my homecoming in VCU a couple years back.
Yeah.
That was about it. It's been a few years though.
Yeah, I'm gonna put you on the spot too. Any favorite go-go band?
Go-go band?
Yeah.
Let's see. This is like old Wale. It's like
okay,
Wale,
look, I'm from the area, so test me.
What is like allow me to introduce me. My name Wale. Don't say
Yes,
Wale.
that's the anthem here in the DMV.
That's
Come on, Larry.
Yeah, that goes crazy.
I love it. I won't get you in trouble asking about the college parties at VCU. All right, I'll stay away from that.
Yeah,
I want you to be able to stay home and keep a happy home and family. But let's go to VCU. Okay, so you chose VCU. You played basketball there. Talk about your experience there before you went to the NBA.
Well, it was a great experience. I had a great coach, Anthony Grant. He recruited like six of us from Florida at the time. So when we got there, I just felt like it was home. Kind of
right.
All my partners I had played against in high school, and we committed together. So that was dope. And it was just my first time seeing snow. So I was like in shock, and it's a beautiful place. The seasons, come from Florida my whole life. I got to see the leaves change and little stuff like that was just dope. So
nice. I mean, I'm glad we were able to give you snow. I'll give you that any time of the day. I would rather probably trade to be in Florida. How was VCU able to get you away from, I'm sure, some of the local Florida schools that were probably getting you after high school?
Crazy thing is I just started playing ball until I was 16. So
wow.
I played 1 year AAU, and within a year I went from having no offers to having like 20 offers.
Wow.
And I didn't know the difference between like a D1, D2, D3. I was super ignorant to like the whole structure of it. So
wow.
I was getting all these letters pouring in, and BCU they were one of the first ones that like were on my radar. So I was like, I gotta go and see and check it out. The coach was cool. So once I got there on campus and I saw like, damn, it's a lot of people that look like me. It's deep culture, it's in the city.
Yeah.
They were having like just all kind of stuff going on. And I was like, I want to be a part of this. So I committed on my visit. I was like,
that's awesome. I'm so glad we were able to give you that culture. But I'm curious, did you ever consider any HBCUs when you were looking at colleges?
They didn't really reach out until like the end. I felt like, but no, not really. I was kind of ignorant to. I mean, I knew somewhat. I was informed about college, but it wasn't really like in the stars. I was like thinking like community college or something like that. So
yeah, and look how your life changed. So I'm assuming you were 16. You had first picked up the basketball, but what inspired you to do that? Were you playing any sports before that?
No, I wanted to be an oceanographer for like majority.
Wow. Of my life. So you can swim, Larry?
I learned how to swim later, but I wanted to study the ocean. Like, I was in submarines before I could swim. It's weird.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, but I love the ocean, so I wanted to be an oceanographer. And I got taller, and I grew to love basketball. I had a great coach. He spent a lot of good time with me when I was young. He was real patient, so it didn't like turn me away.
Right.
So, and I just took off. I fell in love with it, and then before I knew it, I was like in the NBA. So.
Yeah, I mean, you were great in college, a 2-time CAA Defensive Player of the Year. Now a lot of players, Larry, especially in the pros, they get slacked for not playing defense. How do we get them to play more defense, Larry? What do we need to do?
That's what I love. I love defense. I see how it directly affects winning the game.
Right.
Like no matter how many points you score or anything, I just see how defense is like the most important thing. So there are certain guys that are like defensively kind of, I guess, insane like me, like meta world peace. And it's just a love for like stopping someone or defending. It's just like can't
taking
teach
that ball.
You can't teach it.
I love it. So if you had to say the greatest defensive player in the game right now, even though I know we're paused in the NBA, who would you say?
The greatest defender right now
in the NBA. I know I'm putting you on the spot, but I thought a defensive mind. I gotta go to you.
I mean, I love Paul George. I love how he can defend. Of course, Kawhi.
Yep.
Probably somebody really good that I'm not naming right now.
Yeah, it's okay. I put you on the spot. So look, we'll make sure no hate comes towards you. But I had to ask.
Right.
So earlier you talked about getting to the NBA. You were the 15th pick and the 2010 NBA draft. Now, as we prepare for a draft, I guess it might be virtual. I mean, who knows, where we'll be. But take me back to that moment. I mean, what was that like for you and your family?
It's crazy. I was just looking at a YouTube clip like yesterday, and it's actually on YouTube. It's the day before I got drafted, and I did this interview, and I was just so excited, and I flew my family to Virginia because I didn't, I do something at my school, and all my teammates were there. And it was just dope, man. It was surreal.
Yeah.
It just happened so fast. Like, I just remember the first time I kind of scored in the wrong basket because I didn't know they changed at half, and now I'm getting drafted to the NBA. And it's like, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was surreal. Oh, are you the first in your family in the NBA?
Yes. Yeah.
That's an exciting thing. Yeah. And then so we go to the NBA. You're balling out, right? You're playing with the Bucks. What was that experience like for you when you first got in?
It was good. It was good. Of course, a shock. But being a rookie, I had all the rookie duties and the whole initiation process, and it was dope, man. I enjoyed it. I felt like, it was a real brotherhood I was entering into, and I had great vets. Like Drew Gooden and Keon Doolin, who just took care of me and just really let me understand or made me understand the concept of what I was getting myself into, and how hard it worked to be a pro and to make it feel better. So I was fortunate to have some good people around me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that you shouted them out. And I mean, talk about that kind of and expand on that. What's the importance of having a good mentor in the NBA? Because I don't think we hear about that enough, but can you touch on that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, in life in general, it's always good to look for people who have experienced what we want to go through, and what we think we want to go through. And, I learn a lot from, I like to listen and I like to learn. So, I'm thankful for people who are willing to teach, who have patience. You know what I mean? Who are like, yo, young fella, do this and do that, because I'm all ears. I'm all ears, and I hope to inspire to be that. To have that kind of respect and honor where someone can heed my word and maybe take a different path, and so it's all.
It's awesome that it sounds like you strive to be a role model. And quite frankly, Larry, we live in a world sometimes where some athletes especially, are like, hey, I didn't sign up to be a role model. I signed up to play sports. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, public figure, anytime you're a public figure, you belong to the public. They can Google where I stay, how much money I make, and all this shit. So with that responsibility, you do, I mean, me personally, I feel like it's not a job. It's I'm thankful for it.
Right.
It's a blessing to be able to put a smile on people's face.
Right.
Even if me personally, I know it's kind of, you honor me for something that man made, man created this game called basketball.
Right.
And I'm good at it. And now, people clap, but in actuality, you know what I mean? It's just a game. But if it can make people happy and you can use it and spin it to save lives or make people feel better, inspire people, then it's worth it. That's
I love that you're touching and giving back. And I know giving back is something that's really important to you. Can you talk about some of the community work that you're doing, any initiatives that you have?
Oh, yeah. So we're doing something right now in LA to get clothing for the homeless and for kids who are going back to school. Because I love clothing. That's one thing I grew up I had a lack of. We didn't have a lot. So a lot of Salvation Army, and the people didn't give. I didn't have Christmas, I didn't have a Thanksgiving, I didn't have school clothes. If someone didn't give from their home, so I know the importance of that, and I that's one thing I just always want to keep going in my life, for sure.
That's so awesome. And then let's get on clothing since we're talking about it. You have your own clothing line, and I'm understanding, Larry, it's for guys like your size, right? Tall and kind of more slender, or are you showing up to all sizes?
It's custom fit, so it can fit anyone. But my personal standard line is they're gonna be taller, they're gonna be longer jeans for athletic build. Nice. But my sector, I have a side of it where I'm doing custom to fit anyone. So I really want to work with women on that.
That's good. We need clothes.
Exactly. The numbers ain't adding up with the standard.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Jeans. Yeah.
So where are you getting this inspiration from for the women? Because we all remember this very public proposal that you had, right? With the big three. Is she helping out? Where are you getting this inspiration for the women's clothing?
For sure. getting stuff. You know, we go shopping, and she's always just trying to squeeze in stuff, and it's just the numbers. You know, like
Yeah.
it'll fit up top but not down low. It'll be
Yeah.
too long, and I'm like, damn, we deal with some of the same issues, and she's 5'4". You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, 5'4", and you're what, 6'11"?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh. So I can imagine how shopping is for you two. Probably very different, very
Yeah,
different stores.
we shop all day. Like we enjoy it, but it takes a long time.
I love it. All right. Well, I want to get back to basketball with you. Okay. So you're in the NBA, and then Larry, you've had a pretty public career. And I think something that I applaud you for is coming out with some of the struggles that you personally struggled with. I think that's something we don't always get to see, and not something that everyone's able to talk about. So you came out with dealing with depression and anxiety. Which is, quite frankly, especially for you to be a Black man, something that we don't always see. And I think something that we're still struggling with as a society to get through. You were, what, 26 years old, right?
Right.
When you had left the NBA at first. I mean, take me kind of through that time for you. What were you going through, and what led you to speak out?
Well, anxiety for me, I had to learn. Like knowledge always empowered me to like understand whatever I was going through. So I had some good teachers as far as like therapists, and people had mentors that I surround myself around to like what is anxiety, and
Right.
how do I, what is it exactly? Because we don't want to ask questions in our community. We just want to ignore it. And,
Exactly.
like,
right.
Feed the distractions. But the understanding of it really helped me. It's just fear of the future. Simply fear of the future, or regret from the past. And at high levels, this just can weigh on your body and mind, take you from the moment. And a lot of what I was dealing with was from my childhood. It was something that it was repressed, and some things I didn't even remember until I was like mid-20s.
Wow.
Like, damn, I used to do that, or that happened to me. So you just have to learn how to deal with it, and actually dedicate the time and space to really exploring it and getting to know it, and figuring it out. And it's for survival. For survival, we learn how to cope and how to survive. And it is what it is, but it may not always be the healthiest, most productive way to survive. So a lot of it was unlearning certain habits, relearning things, and so yes, it's a journey, but it was well worth it for sure.
And you talked about it being a journey. I mean, how was it to go through that journey so publicly, with basically the world watching?
Right. I mean, I really had no choice. I had no choice. My body broke down on me first. And then, I felt like I was physically so traumatized that I couldn't mentally put myself in that space. So I knew I had to say something to the public, because at that point it was like, oh, what is he doing? Is he stealing? What's going on with him? And he just quit. So much negative backlash, which was somewhat feeding anxiety, because I have 3 children. I have other people who I represent who have to deal with my choices. So I knew I had to speak publicly and kind of put myself out there, and be candid and just be honest. And when I did, I think people saw themselves in me, a little bit. They're like, oh, okay, I've been there before, or I felt that. And I've wanted to make a decision before that maybe I didn't or did. And after it, I think it made a wave of people who, like, people would come up to me in the airport and be like, yo, like, I played college basketball and I quit because of your video, and I showed my parents your video, and then they understood why I quit. Stuff like that. I'm like, damn, like that's
powerful.
Deep. That's deep. So I think a lot of people are torn. I mean, sometimes you can be really good at something that doesn't mean that you love to do it. So just distinguishing that and following your heart, I think. Yeah.
And then I want to take you back to that moment too, because I'm curious. I mean, how was it for your teammate? I mean, you're this star basketball player. You're talented, right? I mean, how was it for your teammates to accept that, in your coaches? Because I feel like at the time when you came out about it, it wasn't as public kind of as it is now.
Right. You mean the anxiety or the retirement?
Let's talk about the anxiety. It kind of tied with the retirement. How your teammates accept it.
Well, when I came out about it, when I spoke about it, I think a lot of people, like a lot of guys, initially, you initially kind of like pull back because you don't want to identify too much and then be associated. But yet, there's a connection. So I think it's just a delicate, but we keep the conversation alive. We knock down the stigmas. We take away this whole aspect of crazy being the umbrella of these different symptoms of trauma. And, people start to figure it out. It's just a fear, and I see it. So I understand it. So I don't, I just know it's like evolution. Through time we'll evolve and we'll understand it more, and we'll be able to tap in. So I just people are hesitant, and then you just labels. Labels suck. No one wants to be labeled.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So.
No, that's powerful, because I think now when people remember that, you were probably one of the more publicly known figures to come out about this, what do you want them to remember most about that moment in time?
It's okay. It's okay. You're not alone. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're all dealing with certain things on different levels. Knowledge is power.
Yeah.
Knowledge is power, man. When you can put a meaning and definition behind some of these words, you start to connect the dots yourself. And I would just say that's what I would want. I would want any kid or any person that's dealing with it and kind of feels that unease or why to take that journey and do that research and go inward, and it'll work itself out. It really will. Like, we have these built-in self-healing mechanisms that we have to tap into, and we just have to do the work.
And again, I appreciate you sharing the story. And I want to take a quick question from one of our live listeners. Okay. So more athletes are vocal about mental illness. Does this need to be talked about more in the pro levels and the NCAA?
For sure. For sure. It needs to be talked about in all communities, communities, and all races, all over. Because it's real, it's like really admitting, and putting face to like a lot of the things that we're going through. So.
And that's powerful. And I think now, especially too, is a moment in time where I think we don't know what players are dealing with right now. Like, this is the first time anything like this has happened. And I'm sure some of them might be dealing with some depression issues and some anxiety issues. So what advice would you have for players kind of as they come out of COVID-19 and we begin to see states open back up to kind of get back to normal life and, maybe the games that they love?
Yeah. And this is speaking to athletes.
Yeah. Speaking to athletes.
Yeah. I would just say, don't let your mind get too restless.
Yeah.
Make a schedule for yourself. Do little things here and there to make sure it's going to be better. You don't want to go back to normal. Like, nobody. The worst thing would be for us to go back to normal.
Right.
So hopefully everyone's a little bit better. And yeah, just don't let your mind get too restless. Just keep yourself scheduled. Because for athletes, when I retired, the one thing that hit me hard was, I don't have to answer anybody. I have to answer nobody. Like, I wake up, do the hell I want, and that's coming from, 10 years of waking up at 9 a.m., 8 a.m. every day to practice.
Right.
You know what I mean? To now I have my own schedule. And the first thing I realized is that misery wasn't, I was happy and excited at first, but then misery starts to creep in. And you have to create a schedule for yourself and have goals and reach them, and you can't just be out here idle and floating. So yeah.
No, that's powerful. And then I think, and I don't want to dwell on this too long, I also love talking about it because, again, I don't think enough people are talking about it, Larry, so I appreciate your candidness. So now, of course, we have players today like Kevin Love coming out, and talking about depression. And I think we kind of see more athletes being more vocal about it. Do you kind of think that's what needs to happen, these kind of top tier athletes talking about it, for us to continue this conversation and get people help?
For sure, because we're looked at as the gladiators. We're looked at as the superheroes, the ones who are oh, he can fly, he's so powerful. And you have this guy who you see so powerful, and he says, I'm dealing with anxiety and depression. On the inside, we're just the same, and that's the unity that we need, because that's what healing is. We're packed animals. We want to be around each other. No one wants to be isolated. No one wants to feel too different. So the more we can normalize mental illness and mental, more we can normalize it and make it a part of our culture,
right.
then the healing starts because now we're together with it, So
Yeah.
yeah.
Larry, I'm about to add motivational speaker to your resume
I
because
appreciate
this is
that.
all so enlightening and powerful. And again, I think it's topics that need to be touched on. And just before we turn tides, any just last words out there for anyone maybe dealing with something in their life that has traumatized them and they're currently dealing with depression or anxiety right now?
Well, I would say, for myself personally, I do a combination of things, and I like to do it before anyone wakes up.
Yeah.
I like to do my affirmations. I remind myself of who I am. I remind myself of my intentions, of my blessings. I speak to God. I personally have to get my engine going.
Yeah.
And for anyone who wants to be inspired, know that it's not inspiration then action. It's action then inspiration. You move, then you're inspired. So if anybody wants to get inspired out there or feel down, like action, do something. Do something. Yep.
Yeah, I like that. All right, so we talked about, you retired from the NBA, and then we'll go to now the part of the story where you basically came back, right? You come back, you're with the Cavs, and then things probably don't go as planned, I'm sure. So kind of what was that time like for you? I mean, what were you kind of expecting, when you made this comeback to the NBA?
Well, I hadn't touched a basketball in 2 years. I hadn't touched
Right. So hiatus.
And then I had a son, my third child, and I wanted to reconnect with my fans, and I just wanted to play ball again. I wanted to enjoy it and get back to the reason why I even started. And within a few months, I had a bunch of teams looking at me, and Cleveland kind of pulled the trigger when I was there in Cleveland. They offered me a contract, which was cool and good. But looking back on it, I feel like maybe there were a couple better choices that maybe would have fit me a little better because of me being acclimated into the NBA. Again, the attention I kind of needed, and then they had so many internal issues. Kyrie was leaving; they didn't know if LeBron was leaving.
Right.
They had real big time. So to bring me on board was just a lot, I think, and but everything happens for a reason, and I really love entrepreneurship. So I was like, I was happy to be there, happy to be with the client, but it still had that taste in my mouth, and I still had to answer to someone, and I was still under this microscope. And that's one thing I didn't like was that I was always under this kind of microscope because of marijuana use.
Right.
But no one ever sat down and had a conversation with me. Like no one ever got to know me. They just kind of it was all punishment. So I ain't like that. I'm like, I like being myself. I enjoy who I am. I don't want to feel like I'm doing something wrong all the time.
Right.
Or hiding.
Right. So you felt like no one really got to know you for you, it sounds like.
Yeah, and it's not even nothing personal. It's a business model.
Right.
It's like that's a part of business. So it's kind of like either be in the business or don't be in the business.
It's true.
Choice. So
it is what it is. Yeah. And then just going off of that though, I'm curious, when you look back at your career in the NBA, would you do anything differently if you had the chance?
No, hell no. I mean, I led the league in blocks, averaged a double-double.
Let them know, Larry.
I blocked. I mean, I defended every person I ever looked up to.
Yeah. Hey, Larry, we lost your audio. Larry, we lost your audio. So sorry, guys. Technical difficulty. All right. Larry, can you hear me? Can you hear me still? I can't hear you. So sorry about this. I still can't hear you. Oh, there we go. Can you hear me now?
Hello?
There we go. We lost you, and I can see your mouth moving. You were saying so many great things. So we got to go back to that question now.
I can't hear you either. I can't hear you.
I was like, I know he's saying some really good things. Okay, so we're going back to the question I asked you. Would you do anything differently? And you answered pretty passionately. First, you said, hell no. And then we lost you.
I'm trying to read your lips, but I can't.
You can't hear me still?
I can't hear you.
All right. I'm going to take you out and see if we can bring you back in. Larry, can you hear me now? Oh, man. The perils of technology.
Maybe earphones?
Yep. I have earphones. Do you have earphones? Yeah, try earphones. All right, guys. Sorry, we're going to take a quick pause. We're talking with Larry Sanders, who previously played in the NBA, his Big Three career that has went on. We're talking about a lot of different things right now. He went through some of the depression and some of the anxiety that he dealt with while being a player in the NBA. And then coming up, we're going to talk entrepreneurship. Larry's doing some amazing things in the music field. His clothing line we talked about, which you guys all definitely check out. But I'm not sure what happened.
Let's see what's working out. It's
all
still
right.
not
Can you hear me now?
I don't know what's going on.
All right, Larry's working with us, guys, but we're trying to get him back because he's saying so many great things. All right, we're going to see if this works. Can you hear me now, Larry? No? All right, let me take Larry off, and then let me try Larry again. And now, Larry, we don't have your video either. We're going to keep trying to make this work. Can you hear me now?
I still can't hear anything.
Oh, no. I can hear you.
You can hear me?
I can hear you.
You can hear me, but I can't hear you.
All right, can you hear me now?
Okay, there we go. Hello?
Are we back? Finally, yes, we did it. See, I wasn't letting you go, Larry. All right. So we lost you at the point where I asked you, I said, would you have done anything differently? And then I said, you answered very passionately. Right. You said, hell no. And then after that, we lost you. So all the great things you said after.
Oh, yeah.
Again, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Okay, no, I wouldn't. I played with some great teammates. I had a great career. I got a chance to play against everyone I looked up to.
Yeah.
And they got, they responded with like, hey, you're a hell of a player. I had a great career. Milwaukee was a great city because it was small and big at the same time.
Right.
And everyone, they love the basketball and they love the sports there. So, going to the Packers game and actually really seeing snow like shit. I thought I saw snow in Virginia.
Nah,
when I got to Milwaukee,
it's real out there.
It's real, for real. So yeah, that I wouldn't take it back from anything. I experienced a lot. It made me go inward. It made me tap into like some of the stuff that I, really need to get a handle on. So it all worked out.
Nice. I had to ask, like I said, I was curious. All right, so we go from that. We're gonna talk entrepreneurship, but I gotta talk the Big Three. So we go back to the 2019 Big Three draft. The third pick, right? You're used to just being picked early on in life, right? You're just talented. Right. So, first, what led you to like come back to basketball with the Big Three?
Well, yeah, I talked to a couple of players like Steven Jackson and some guys who were already involved, and they just said it was a good time. They said it was great. They got a chance to play in the summers, no microscope, just play basketball, have fun, enjoy each other. And I was like, yeah, I can do it. That sounds up my alley. So
yeah,
and it was great. It was a good summer. Like I said, I got to see the cities in the summertime. So it was dope. I got to see Philly in the summer, New York.
Yeah.
Rather than in the winter during the season. So.
That's a difference, right?
It is.
That's so awesome. Sure. So, talk about some of your favorite Big Three memories from 2019.
Yeah, just Ice Cube always had like somebody dope from the old school performance, or like Juvenile performers in New Orleans, and just being around him and his whole team and their atmosphere, just you want to create. It's like, damn, you just want to think ideas and create and be involved. So every weekend they had something going on for the players, as well as the game, and the hotels were nice. It was all good. It was all good stuff. So Just being in the atmosphere, it was like, damn, this is something I definitely want to be a part of going forward.
Yeah. And then, we got to talk your beautiful lady. You proposed to her during the half at a Big 3 game. How did the planning for that come along?
Yeah, so she's from Detroit.
Uh-huh.
So when I saw that we were playing in Detroit, I was like, okay, this is perfect. Like, 'cause
Yeah.
for her, she just wanted to look good. She wanted her family there, and
Yeah.
I was like, it's kind of crosses all the all the X's off that she wants. So you know, I think it was good. It was good. It happened. It kind of didn't happen at first because like it was fate how it happened because she kind of
Yeah.
walked right into it. So yeah, it worked itself out. Yeah.
A very special moment. Well, we're hoping, of course, that basketball can continue so we can see some more Big 3 action. We have a question from the viewer actually on your lady. They want to know, how did you all meet?
How do we meet? Her cousin styled me for a photo shoot,
Yeah.
and yeah, we kind of took off from there.
And the rest was history, right? As they
Yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, now let's
Right.
go to your entrepreneurship. I think you're truly amazing. LA Show is the producer name, right?
Yeah, late show.
Late Show. Oh, I love that. All
Yeah.
right. So tell me some more. What's this name come from?
Late show. Well, I get most of my inspiration just late at night. Like I make my beats like early in the morning or late at
Yeah.
night. So I just came up with the name Late Show, and it
Yeah.
just stuck with me in college. And then yeah, just been producing. Been
Yeah.
producing for
You say
like
it's so
damn
mellow.
near
You
10 years.
produce some of the biggest people. You've worked with Drake,
Yeah,
Party Next Door. I mean, talk
yeah.
about this, like where this music inspiration came from and how have you been able to be so successful in it?
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, I like to learn. So when I fell in love with like making the beats and stuff, like it's
Yeah.
like a video game. So I go in and just make beats. I feel like I have a good ear for music. So when I hear something, I can easily duplicate something I hear. Like
Right.
I catch on to the snare and the bass and the pattern so quickly.
Right.
And so yeah, it's just fun. And when I started making these tracks and these beats. I was working with other artists in LA, up and coming guys, and
Right.
they would be like, "Yo, this is like Drake on this. This is like Future. This is like, like
Yeah.
they always go high level name quality guys." So I was like, okay, I think
Yeah.
I'm going in the right direction.
Yes. When you have those names,
Yeah.
it means you're doing something right. Any favorite memories with anybody you've worked with in the music scene?
Um, I had a studio house when I was I had a when I first moved to LA. Citizens of Matter, which is my
Mhm.
clothing company now, it was an artist incubator. So
Yeah.
I had like 6 artists. I housed them, shot music videos, and kind of just gave them good like the stability they needed to kind of just launch into their different attributes and careers. And they they uh, I'm sorry, what was the
No,
question?
you're good. No problem. Any favorite memories of any artist that you've worked
Oh
with?
yeah, so at that studio house, sorry, at that studio house, I had a studio in the back. So I mean, Schoolboy Q came through a couple
Yeah.
times. King Los, um, just a few people, and
Mhm.
they recorded. So just being in the atmosphere, being around, you
Yeah.
know, people like that in LA, it was just dope.
It's
It was
nice.
just dope.
You have
Yeah.
you have a great list of people that you've worked with. But I got to get your thoughts on this. So we see more NBA players now trying to kind of make this crossover, Larry, into the rap
Mhm.
game, right? We see mixtapes dropping. Dame Lillard comes to mind, and there's some others. From your musical background, can any of them make it in music?
Yeah, for sure. For sure, Dame is nice. I
Yeah.
think I think the problem I think the thing is it's like it's that stigma thing again. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, once you become really good at something, people
Yeah.
don't really want to accept you in other lanes. Like they don't want to, you got to prove me wrong. Like, oh, here's
Yeah.
another basketball player trying to rap, or here's
Yeah.
another, you know what I'm saying, someone trying to cross over. But I mean, if you're talented, you're talented. And I think there's definitely a correlation between basketball and music
Yeah.
because all the musicians want to play basketball and all the basketball players want to rap.
Right.
And so there's definitely a direct correlation between the two.
Yeah. Have you ever had a chance to work with any NBA players yet on their music, or is that on the list of to-dos coming up?
Me and yeah, no, I mean I've been like around JaVale. He's been working. Me and him gotta work because he has some bangers. He's stupid talented with the music.
Nice.
Um, Yeah. I mean, like the Lopez brothers, they do comic books,
Wow.
and I'm into the books and stuff too. So, guys are talented, man. There's some talented guys there that are like super, super
Yeah.
talented. So,
And I
yeah.
don't know if you can drop it for us, but anything we should be looking out for coming out from you on the music scene?
Well, yeah, actually, no, I'm coming out with like an album. It's gonna be
Nice.
mostly instrumentals. Yeah, mostly instrumentals and beats. But I just want to, I want guys to get off real quick, and so I'm gonna do like, I don't know, probably between 12 and 16 tracks, and then some
Nice.
interludes, some storytelling.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's gonna be
Is
good.
it this
Yeah,
year we can expect that? It's a good time with quarantine. We're all waiting.
back in June, back in June.
All right.
Yeah, yeah,
We'll have to have you back on for that one so you can drop more details
yeah, for
about
sure,
that. Okay, so now
for
you're an
sure.
entrepreneur. We talked about it. You're doing clothing line, you're doing music, and you're doing community service. Anything else that you're doing that we missed on? Because you're Superman, I think.
Um, no, I'm just active. I'm just active, and I like to stay busy. But I'm developing some TV shows right now and some movies. So,
Nice.
um, yeah, I got some production companies that I'm gonna start shopping around to and whatnot. So yeah, I just like to stay active and creative, and
Yeah.
you know, yeah.
I think it's great. And you've invested in your dream. And this is what leads me to my next question. So, unfortunately, on the other side of things, we see athletes who sometimes team up with the wrong people, quite frankly, Larry, and they invest money into bad business schemes or people who take their money. So, any advice you have for them,
Mhm.
athletes who kind of want to follow their dream, but maybe don't know the right people to connect with? I mean, can you give them any advice in that lane or space to kind of do what you're doing?
Yeah, I would say it's not bad to do little quick investments here and there. I would go toward real estate if you're gonna
Mhm.
put your money anywhere because people need places to live. Like that's gonna always be a market, real estate.
Right.
But then outside of that, passive income. So you have a very expensive car.
Right.
Learn how to get money from that. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So these ways to bring in income without even doing anything. And then once you really want to invest in an idea or a dream, like let it be your own first.
Right.
Invest in yourself, invest in your own idea, your own dream, whatever that may be. Like
Yeah.
do that first before you go to your best friend or your cousin or and you devote more time and energy to that. Like,
Yeah.
just wait. Just do some real estate and keep stacking. And then when it's time that you find something passionate enough, like go all in. That's
And
what I would
just
say.
go back. I love that. I love that, Larry. It's been such a joy to have you. I can't believe 45 minutes has almost come and gone. And I don't want to take all your time. I know you got little ones and a family to get back
Right.
to. But before I let you go, just any last words? I mean, tell us, where people can follow you, what we can expect coming up from Larry Sanders.
Okay. Yeah. The real underscore Larry Sanders is my Instagram.
Mhm.
And then yeah, just a lot of creation. I'm gonna be collabing with a lot of like younger artists and actors who you've probably seen, but they're young and talented, and I just want to keep connecting with people,
Right.
find ways to build, and yeah, just make sure I do my part. Just make sure I do my part. So,
Yeah, I think make sure you do your part is just so huge. And like you said, I mean, you're giving back. And then really quick before I let you go, I love this quote from you. Don't neglect the and. Can you
yeah,
kind of dive in deep for me? I mean, what exactly are you trying to say
yeah.
with that quote?
Well, yeah, just the end. Like people say you're selfish or you're whatever, you're mean. Just add the and to it. Because
Hmm.
you're mean and you're nice
Yeah.
and you're compassionate and you're brave and you're fearful and you're so many things, and we all are just so many different things. Sometimes we just get honed and focused in on one thing that it can consume us and we forget about all the other
All the
wonderful
others.
things that we are,
Yeah.
so just don't neglect that. Yeah.
All right. One more question from the fans before I let you go. What is your biggest accomplishment in life?
Oh, my kids,
Yeah.
hands down.
Yeah.
Yeah, my
What do you
babies.
have?
Yeah.
Boys,
I
girls?
have three. I have two boys and a girl.
Oh, so sweet.
So yeah, two
What are the
five,
ages?
two 6 and 9, 2 6 and 9.
Woo. So you have a busy household.
Oh yeah,
How are you
oh yeah.
keeping
They
them?
keep me
How are
going.
you keeping them active during quarantine?
A lot of jumping jacks. It's hot outside. Keep them out there in that heat. The heat to do it.
It makes them
The heat to cook
tired.
them.
Lots of naps.
Oh yeah, facts,
Well, perfect.
facts.
Well, Larry, thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate your time. And one more time, can you drop your handles for the people to follow you?
Yes, it is the real underscore Larry Sanders, and it's Larry Sanders on Facebook.
Nice. We got to get you back on Twitter too.
I'm on Twitter. It's Larry Sanders on Twitter, but I gotta start tweeting more.
Yeah, we gotta get you start tweeting more because you say some good things that the people need to hear. Larry, thanks for joining me.
Right.
Hope to have you back on in the future. True pleasure.
Okay. Yeah. No, thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
All right, Kelsey. Bye.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into this live stream edition of Listen In with KNN. You just heard from one of the greatest to do it, Larry Sanders. A true special thanks for him for joining me. Next week, we'll be back on Thursday at 6:15 p.m. with Adam Kirker, a former Washington Redskin. So yes, I'm showing love to the DC area. So make sure you catch us each and every week on Thursdays at 6 p.m. and Saturdays at 2 p.m. and sometimes 4 p.m. for some special editions. All right, guys, that will do it for this week's episode. I hope to see you next week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you all then. All right, have a great one.
Follow Kelsey on social media at @TheRealKNelson and catch each broadcast of Listen In with KNN on air at AM 1340 and 96.9 FM Fox Sports Radio on YouTube, on Facebook and Twitter, and online at KelseyNicoleNelson.com. Thank you for watching this special live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN.